Hello and welcome back to another episode of No Rules, Random Thoughts of a Swiftie. I'm your host, Brianna Peters. Today's episode is going to be something I'm interested in getting your opinion on because I definitely have my own thoughts about this. So we should definitely connect so I can get your thoughts on this. You can email the show. It is norulesswiftiepod@gmail.com. And you can find the podcast on Instagram and TikTok so we can chat there as well. That's No Rules Swiftie Pod. And you can find me on those places as well at Brianna May Peters. I say grab a snack, grab a drink. Let's figure out what's going on. That was really cheesy, but mine is ice cold freezing water in my Stanley Pebble Ice because I'm basic. And that's how I do. So today we're going to talk about kind of this interesting pattern of thoughts that was happening when Taylor first introduced TTPD set into the Eras Tour. Now, I had kind of like the initials of this thought when I was listening to the album, but just seeing it play in the Eras Tour live really unlocked a new piece of this for me. So I really want to know if people are getting the same read on this as I am, because I could be totally wrong. I could be totally off base here. And it seems like I am from a lot of Swifties, and I will get into that in a second. But ultimate thing here is I just want to talk about the meta-ness of it all, of But Daddy, I Love Him, and I Can Do It With a Broken Heart performances inside of the Eras Tour. Like, if you think, I know we have like talked about this before in the community, like, oh, this is crazy. Like the fact that she's recreating different moments of the Eras Tour set inside of the performance of I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. Just that alone will make your head want to spin. Like, she literally takes bits and pieces from the Eras Tour, different parts of the Red set, Evermore Folklore set, like these different parts, and puts them all into one song that talks about how sad she was that she had to do this performance for people when she was suffering with a broken heart. And it's a lot. It's a lot to think about. I have watched the side-by-sides on socials of her recreating those moments and those moments from the tour. And it's not easy to miss, you know? And I do love that about Taylor, is that while there is a lot of looking for clues and Easter eggs and little things that you might not have seen, or even like, you know, the most observant Swifties are like, how did I not see this? And then there's slap you over the head. Thank you, Amy, KIM, like all capitalized, in your face, Petty Taylor. And I love it. I live for it. I'm fine with it. But I do feel a little still awkward about this, especially I think in like But Daddy, I Love Him. No, they're both really, really awkward to me. Like both performances, not awkward in the way that she does it or the way, you know, that it's played out. She does a great job with it. But has anyone like in the audience stopped to think she's literally talking about me and us as a collective right now, but it doesn't seem like they're getting it? Like, it's like you are the joke, but you don't realize you are the joke. And to me, it's a little weird. Like, I think that's ballsy. That is a ballsy move from Taylor Allison Swift to be like, I'm going to take this, put it into a song, for which then I to do a full performance of that song in a set in front of the people I'm talking about. Now, I know not everybody is the type of people that she's talking about in the songs. Like, she's obviously talking about the people who signed petitions demanding that she stop dating her boyfriend at the time. Sorry, I'm so ridiculous. But let's be honest, like, and I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, she's saying, like, and the crowd was chanting more, like, they want more from me. They want me to keep going. They don't know what I'm dealing with. And then she puts that into the song, and during the performance, the people in the crowd are chanting more in real time. I'm like, I kind of live for it. And at the same time, I'm kind of cringed out by it. And I I hope everybody takes this with a grain of salt. This is just my random Swiftie thoughts. I'm not dogging Taylor, the performers, the song itself, anything like that. I'm talking more about, does the audience, like, actually remove Taylor from this conversation for a second. Do you and us and we as the audience realize she's talking about us? And does anybody else find that a little weird and strange that you're just like bopping along at the hair store and she's like literally saying the most judgmental creeps? And maybe you're not the most judgmental creep, but she kind of is talking about the collective. I actually saw she commented under Abigail's post about like her announcing her Abigail's pregnancy. And she said, when the internet says mother, this is the photo they're referencing or something like along those lines. And I do find it interesting that Taylor said the internet. It's almost like it's not people. And I understand why she says that. Don't get me wrong. Like millions upon millions upon millions of people is not something that you can conceptualize when they're all like idolizing you and they're your fans and they love you and you saved their life. And like the severe amount of love that she and like attachment that the people have for her is not something that's easily understandable. Like as a person, it's hard. So I understand in a way where she says like the internet, because it's too much to conceptualize. But at the same time, the internet is full of just people. It's just a ton of people all in a group. So I wonder if in some way it kind of helps her to disassociate a little bit of like, there's each individual person. And I think she does really well. And people have had many, many stories of meeting her. And it's been great because it's a one-on-one. But anything outside of that, I think she does maybe sometimes just like lump it together. So while you might not be the most judgmental creep, while maybe you didn't sign a petition demanding that she leave her boyfriend, I think she's talking as a collective, like, soliloquies I'll never see. Like, this is a soliloquy. This is something I'm saying right now to people. She'll never see it, but we're talking about her. And I understand, like, at a very base level, because I don't actually get everything, but on a base level, I understand what she's saying. Do I still think it would be really awkward to be in the crowd and she's like, you judgmental creeps who say you want the best for me, but yet you speculate I'm pregnant, you do this, you do that, you talk on my name. Like, I don't know. I guess it does seem a little crazy. There's a distinction to me when she's talking about the media specifically, like in a blank space or something like that, because obviously, most people don't fit under that category. Most people are not writing articles or on the news or in magazines and reporters. Like, she's very much put the media in their own category. And I don't get weirded out or creeped out by that because the media likes to do some shady stuff. Like, we know that. So this is more about specifically the songs surrounding the fans, like in But Daddy, I'd Love Him and I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. She's not talking about the media, babe. She's talking about you. She's talking about me. She's talking about all of us. And I wish so much that sometimes you could just be a fly on the wall and try and understand where people's heads were at. Because I think obviously anything that Taylor does is epic. Like, this is a concept that's not new to us because she does what she thinks is right in the moment and what she's feeling. So that's why she's so popular with her music. I'm sorry, but I don't want to be hateful. Hold on. Let me try and say this in a nice way. There are a lot of talented people who have people write songs for them or are good looking or charismatic or have a brand or a identity of some sort that make them stand out from the crowd. But it's very basic what they do because the songs are, basic pop songs that don't really delve deep. And Taylor has some of those songs in her discography, but even those songs are above the rest because the production is a higher quality, or she definitely sneaks in some of her own very specific journey into that song, or the fact that she wrote it. Like every single song Taylor Swift has, she's had some sort of hand in creating herself. So just that alone will make it so that Taylor is always in a category of her own. She's always different because nobody is going to be just like her with her thoughts and her ideas. And she goes from that point of view whenever she's making her decisions on stuff. So that aside, like she's in a category of her own. When she's going through that process and is like, okay, wrote this song because they made me really feel this way, and that's not okay. And I do respect that. But like, she was like, so I'm going to perform it in front of them. Like, was anybody else like interesting? Do we feel a little scared about essentially calling them out in real time, night after night, over and over in front of their faces? Do we feel like that's a little much? You know, I would just like to know if anybody else was in the room saying these things. At the end of the day, this is Taylor's story. She's conveying it in her way, in the best way she knows how, which she's very talented at. So again, I am more of like a middle ground person. Like, I'm a fan through and through. I love her, but you're not going to catch me like not clocking somebody if I feel like they're being shady, or if I don't agree with something. I kind of always am going to stand on what I believe. Like, I love her so much, and I genuinely think the best of people. So I'm never going to be hateful about anything, but sometimes I do have these thoughts of just like, is anybody else creeped out by this, or is it just a me thing? Now, I will say, I have not been to an Eras tour. You better believe if I'm spending the money and I'm going and I'm in the pit with people, I'm going to be screaming along to But Daddy, I Love Him and acting like it's somebody else for that moment in time, even though it's definitely about me. So that's fine. I do love those two performances a lot, just like the way that she conceptualized them, like in But Daddy, I Love Him, and the lights and the church theme and everything like that. That part was really cool. I mean, obviously I Can Do It With a Broken Heart is iconic, made even more iconic from Travis Kelce being a part of it. Yeah, everything she does is very thoughtful. I just wonder if anybody else in the room had these thoughts that I'm saying now. And if not, that's totally fine. Look, she's killing it. It's not going to make it or break it for her. I was just curious. So I want to hear from you. One, these songs, I just love them in general. Do you love these songs from TTBD? Is this some of your favorite songs? I definitely need to know. Guilty as Sin, I think, is my number one, but that's because it's one of the best songs of all time. So I want to know from you which songs you're liking from TTBD specifically, but I do want to hear your thoughts on this concept. If you've been to a performance, I have to know what your thought process was during these performances, because I guess I just don't know how I wouldn't be able to see it in real time. I don't know. I'll let you guys answer because you've been there, you've done it. So please find me on all the places. And if you're listening to this podcast, don't forget you can watch on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. If you're listening, rate it, review it so other Swifties can find us. Let's start this community building and let's get more people in here. I can't wait to talk to you guys on socials, and I'll see you soon. Bye.